Thanks for checking in on the State of Basketball podcast, episode 93. I'm Adam Miller, and I'm here with Jaren Will each and every week, and we are going to be bringing you the news and notes on all 11 Division I schools in the state of Indiana, because in 49 states,
it's just basketball. Our unpaid intern is at it again. Pre-fired the live, didn't let the intro jingle tune finish before cutting to Adam.
Sometimes you got to go as quick as you can on those. Try and get the most seamless. Sometimes you're a little bit too quick.
And I blame Adam and I for that, only because, not because we're the ones doing it, right? It was our unpaid intern. Just because we've taken so many breaks, right? It's been a long time, and obviously I've put out 3 episodes at this point.
We're shooting free throws cold, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Shooting cold free throws.
Exactly. So we've released 3 episodes of our season previews.
We're previewing their preseasons. We're talking about their summer workouts and stuff that they're gonna do.
So we're all a little rusty. But nonetheless, we are here for episode 4 of our season previews, episode 94 of our show.
93.
Dang. Right. Because 90 starts at 0.
It's our 4th preview, but yeah.
It always messes me up. Like when we were planning it out, we're like, oh, episode 90 through 100 will be our season previews. And I was like, wait a minute. There's 11. That doesn't. I was like, 0.
You know, it does feel like I think I sent that thing to you that was like 1 through 5 feels like 5 numbers, but 6 through 10 feels like 4.
Yeah.
Like that's so valid. Like the 6 to 10 does just feel like 4 numbers. And I don't know what it is, because obviously 6 minus 10 is 4 and 5 minus 1 is 4. So, you know, works out the same way either way. But regardless, we're not even talking about all 11 teams. We're going to be talking about one. And for, again, like we're recording these couple in a row in one night.
Whalers, bro.
I mean, you track the outfits if you're watching. We did not wear the same thing as last time. I thought about looking for my shirt, but
I don't even remember what I wore.
I remember what I wore. It was the Indiana horn and basketball.
Oh yeah,
that I wore. But we are
did I
again.
wear this?
Yeah, you did. You did throw that on because you were wearing something else. We are again this week starting off our previews for the week. Starting off talking about the team with the biggest football win in the state. That's Indiana this time. So we're going to be talking about Indiana. University.
It wasn't the biggest win in the state. It was the
biggest win in the country. Biggest win of the season so far.
True.
Best. They have the best win. But we're not here. You know, we could talk on and on about the football team, but we got deadlines. Our unpaid intern has given us the hurry up motion. So we're going to talk about the football team.
The basketball team.
He's giving us the hurry up motion. We are ignoring that. We're going to talk about the football team anyway. Love to. But we're going to talk about the basketball team. So this is Indiana. They are not coached by Mike Woodson anymore. He was let go in the offseason after they were one of the first 4 teams out of the tournament last year. They went and hired Darren DeVries. Hired him after this season. If you ask a West Virginia fan, they hired him in the middle of this season, had a handshake deal.
Not even that. They say that they hired him in November.
Yeah, they hired him when they were down at Atlantis, and then had his son sit out the rest of the season, faking a shoulder injury so that he could get an extra year of eligibility.
Harris, he'll say the same thing.
Yeah, bring him along. So whether they did or not, we're talking about Darren DeVries. Our unpaid intern did not put his career record, but it's an interesting look here for Indiana because 2 seasons ago, I was probably swearing at Darren DeVries when Indiana State lost in Arch Madness final, didn't make it into the big tournament, ended up winning, going to the finals of the NIT, which is super, super cool because they could have, lost the first game of the tournament. They probably wouldn't have, but they could have. Would be a reasonable thing to do. But was probably cursing Darren DeVries' name and that team and Tucker DeVries. But now we get to talk about them as the coach and player for Indiana. So Darren DeVries is the coach. He was at Drake for a couple of years, turned that program around, and then got hired at West Virginia. They were the first team left out of the tournament. Indiana was like the second or third team left out of the tournament. So they didn't make the tournament. Indiana hires him. Now he's at Indiana, and Indiana, coached by Mike Woodson, ended the season ranked 50th in Torvik. They went 19-13 overall. They went even 10-10 in the Big Ten. They finished 9th out of 18 teams in the Big Ten. And like I said, they were one of the first 4 teams left out of the NCAA tournament. They opted out of the NIT. They opted out of the Crown, even though I was told that was not allowed. And the Mike Woodson era ended. And now we turn our attention to 2025-2026 with Darren DeVries at the helm. Jaren.
Yes. So looking into the season, right? Again, we use Torvik. That is who we have gone by for all of our.
Let's get him on the show.
Tracking. Honestly, Bart would be a good guy to have on the show.
Get him on the show.
Mostly because he would teach us about some of the metrics that we don't quite understand, but we still look at. And
he has the one that I need, filter by state.
Yep. But so preseason, the projected ranking, again, based on the computers, the metrics, the data, whatever, they're predicted to go 18-13 and 10-10 in the conference. So 18-13 overall, 500 in the conference, which would put them at 12th in the Big Ten, but actually we're a 5-way tie for 8th. So obviously, yeah, it's just weird to think that that's just how it factors out.
Just like, there's always like a cluster in the middle, but 5-way tie for 8th is just crazy.
Yeah, and they're going to do this on the back of their key returners, which are none. They have none.
The walk-ons are pretty key.
The walk-ons, the glue guys, so to speak, the locker room guys. They understand the culture a little bit and can help, bring the team along in that regard.
I would say normally those are the guys who know the terminology and stuff like that, but I guess that's just Tucker.
Yeah.
He's just the guy.
Yeah, so and then obviously their key departures, with no one returning, it is because everyone has departed. Yeah. Again, outside of the few walk-ons.
If you heard a name last year in a game for an IU player, they're gone. You heard their name, they're gone.
That's actually true, because I don't think many walk-ons played much at all last year, because Indiana was never in the was rarely in the position
deep into the
to get that deep into the bench. So looking at their key newcomers, so the entire roster, I'm just going to list out a few if you're okay with that, Adam.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't want to go through the entire list because that would take us forever.
We'd be here all night.
Quite literally. So Tatum Connerway, big transfer guard coming in from Troy. He was the Sun Belt Player of the Year. Great lead guard who can score, rebound, pass, and he's going to be in your face defensively and turn the ball over, right? So this is a guy who was on a lot of draft boards last year. Obviously on the lower end of the draft board, but a guy that has those tools that could potentially make it in the league and be successful there. So that's a big name to look out for. And then there's Lamar Wilkerson, who's a Sam Houston State transfer. Dude, just a bucket, right? He's going to be the guy that if anyone leads the team in scoring, it could very well be Lamar.
He had 8. He's already had 18 in Assembly Hall last year when they played the Hoosiers. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he was lighting it up in Assembly Hall. Led Sam Houston State with 18 points.
And there's obviously, we've already mentioned it, Tucker DeVries. He is a West Virginia transfer, formerly a Drake transfer to West Virginia, the son of Jaren, right? So he's a big wing who can score at all 3 levels. The dude's a bucket as well. By far is going to be their best shooter, or should be their best shooter.
Yeah, at least is on paper.
Yeah. Of the guys who transferred in, right? Yeah. There are a few freshmen that could be potentially, but obviously of the guys who have college Division I experience, not even Division I, of college experience, he's on paper their best. Big man, Reed Bailey, who was a Davidson transfer. He's a stretch 5. all conference A10, so he's going to be their guy down low, which is going to be interesting because a little undersized for what Indiana has seen the last few years.
Like
with
a pretty decent rim protector still.
Yeah, I like him. He's not athletic, not as athletic as Trace.
Right, but similar thing.
I'd say the best comparison is probably to a Race Thompson. A Race Thompson playing the 5 instead of playing the 4, but a better shooter.
I mean, Trace Jackson Davis was just an anomaly who had a couple tricks in his bag and would always score with them, and was just a shot deleter at like 6'9".
That's why I was thinking like Race, just from
you could even say like a poor man's Trace Jackson Davis, would be fair, because
but I don't want to discredit him.
I feel like but Reed Bailey's more like, I feel like maybe more laterally quick than Race.
That's true.
And he can, and Race had his moments as a stretch, but it was a stretch to call him a stretch.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
which also I guess
a better version of he's
poor man's Trace who can shoot,
and a rich man's Race Thompson.
Sure.
I think that's probably the
Both
best
of them
happy
are
medium
in the air right now.
And then another guy here is Connor Enright, who is a great lead or backup guard. Played at DePaul last year, and then he also played for with Tucker DeVries or Darren DeVries at Drake 2 years ago.
On that team that knocked out Indiana State.
Yep. So there's some chemistry there, which I think will be really good for this team between Connor and Tucker. But he's a good shooter, great passer. He's going to be he's a poor man's TJ McConnell. Yeah.
He's a very good, like, if he's your backup guard, like, that's great. Like, if he's your, like, obviously, Tyrese at the 1, but when you need TJ McConnell in there, like, you don't feel bad that your backup's in there, right? You're like, oh, dude, we're in good hands. Like, that's a good comparison.
He's going to be the guy. A lot of Indiana fans complained throughout the last few years about effort on the court, diving for loose balls, being in people's faces. This is going to be that's Connor Enright to a T. He's going to
he'll be the Trey Galloway for opposing teams. Like, they will hate him like they hated Trey Galloway.
Yeah. And then there's obviously several other key transfers that came in, but I want to talk about freshmen, right? Trent Sisley, big one. He's a 4-star. He was 66 in the class of 2025. A great shooter, great wing. That is a huge pickup. He stayed, right? He committed.
He committed to Mike.
He committed to Mike Woodson, but stayed with Indiana.
One of those where, like, he was like, that was like Darren DeVries was like, that was my first call, basically.
Yeah. And then they've got Alexa Ristic, who is an athletic Serbian, and then
Andrej Asimovic, I think is his
Andrej
name.
Asimovic, who is a Bosnian. He played in the ABA U19, so stud there. So those are the big 3 when it comes to the freshmen coming in.
Yeah, they've got, so, like, when you look at this team, like, Tate Connerway, Conference Player of the Year. I think Lamar Wilkerson was on one of the conference teams. Tucker DeVries was an all-conference guy in the Missouri Valley. Connor Enright might have been. I didn't go back that far. Sam Alexis, national champion. Josiah Miles, all A-Sun player. Like, they've got guys who have won a lot or were some of the best 5 guys in their conference, which is a change from kind of last year's team. Last year's team, they had some good guys in their conference, but, like, they also had a lot of guys who, like, had a lot to prove, and a lot of that didn't manifest. Some of them did, obviously, but this team has winners, I think. A coach who's won a lot, players who have won a lot or know how to win, and I think that's going to be a difference maker for this team. And we've seen that already, because if you're an Indiana fan and you were locked in the summer, they went 3-0 on their 4-2, and it looked like they were going to go 0-3. Like, they were down bad. Like, I think they pulled off like a 20-point comeback in the first or second game, something like that. Something ridiculous. Like, they just shut the team out, and it's the summer tour in wherever they were, the Bahamas or wherever the heck they were.
I don't even remember.
They were somewhere tropical, nice weather where they could have, could have just gone out and be like, oh, we're playing some ball. But they like actually dug deep and played well.
They showed grit.
Yeah, it doesn't mean a lot, but like it does show that, even when they might not be locked in, they can still lock in. They went 3-0 in those games, and they really dug deep to win them. But they've got this season their key games. They are bringing Scott Drew back to Indiana. He came back obviously to win a national championship. Now he's coming back to Indianapolis. They are playing Baylor in Indy on October 26th. So that's coming up real soon.
In an exhibition.
In an exhibition game. And then their kind of games of note. They've got 4 games of note during the conference season. They play in Chicago against Marquette on November 9th. They host Kansas State. I think this is a home and home, but I'm not 100% certain. They host Kansas State on November 25th, and then they play Louisville in Indy on December 6th, which I love that they're doing that. And then this is like a part of a 4-game series, I think, with Kentucky that they started this year. And I hope that Mark Pope seems like the guy to renew it and just keep it going. They play at Kentucky, so they play at Rupp on December 13th.
What's crazy, going back to the football conversation, that December 6th game is the same day that Indianapolis is hosting the Big Ten football championship.
It's going to be a good day.
So could have both IU basketball and football competing on a very big scale on the same day.
I wonder what time the games will be. Let's go get media. Let's try and get media passes. We'll try. So those are their games of note. They've got 4 big games. Every other game, other than those, is a bye game,
which is also changed from previous. Because last year they had 11 bye games. I'm pretty sure.
Well, they had South Carolina was like their one game. They had Atlantis.
That's true. They did have Atlantis,
and then they got their brains beaten game 1.
Yeah,
but let's not talk about that. Season goals.
Yeah, season goals. So big goal that we have for them and that they should have for themselves, and I imagine do, at minimum, make the NCAA tournament. We think that they do have the potential to be a single-digit seed. We also want to have a goal of them finishing top 6 in the Big Ten. For reference, UCLA finished 7th last year in the Big Ten, like 13-7.
6th. We're a 7 seed.
Oh, and okay, they finished 6th and we're a 7 seed. Yeah. So if they do finish top 6 in the Big Ten, that very well would put them in that single-digit seed. And I think a lot of people have them projected to be anywhere between an 8 to a 10 seed. Is that right? Is that what you said? No, we were talking about them finishing 8 to 10.
Yeah, in the Big Ten.
Too many 10s. But yeah, so single-digit seed, finish top 10 in the conference. Both we think are very doable. How are they going to do that? Well, that's going to be by winning games. When we look at their record, we predict that in the non-con, they'll probably go 2-2 against the 4 teams of Marquette, Kansas State, UK, and Louisville.
Yeah, I think they're projected to lose the 2 Kentucky teams and beat the other 2. Right? Is
yes.
that like what the projection's saying?
So, 2-2 between those 4 games puts them in a good spot. Then go 9-2 overall. Like we mentioned, there's 7 bye games that should be pretty easy claps for the Hoosiers.
Probably all home, I would assume, because they don't play in any MTEs.
Correct. I'm pretty sure they are all
home games.
Yeah, I don't have that.
I'm on the wrong year. But yeah, they're all home games. They're all going to be home games.
Yeah, so that puts them in good position going into the conference season, which again, finishing top 6. Metrics have them going 10-10 in the conference. We think that they could reasonably go 13-7. That would be huge. That would put them, based historical reference, with the 18-team Big Ten, would put them in that kind of range of top 6 in the conference. So that's going to be a 22-9 overall, which again would very likely put them as a single-digit seed in the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm. And, one thing to pay attention to is like they have 4 good games. That is a lot more than the previous regime has done, and I like that. And the thing that I really like about this is Louisville is ranked 11th in Torvik, and that's a neutral game in Indy, and then they play a true road game at number 14 on Torbit, Kentucky. So if you win one of those games like that, that puts you on the map. Like you know, you've got a very good stamp on your resume already. Mm-hmm. And so if they can win, like if they go 3-1 in those games,
that's even better.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like to me is outperforming expectations, because Kentucky and Louisville was pretty good last year. Kentucky was good last year, and I think they're both going to be better.
Yeah,
and like those are teams that if you knock one of them off, like you're Darren DeVries. This is what you're playing. You know, you got it going.
You're playing with house money.
Yeah, and so I think that's going to be crucial. If they do that, like they're going to be in very, very good shape. But we're really going to find out if the shooting curse is real this year or not, I think, because
absolutely
they have 4 guys who attempted more than 5 threes per game, and there are 7 guys who shot better than 33%, and it's 8 if you extend it to like 32.6 or something like that, who shot better than 33%, with 3 of them shooting more above 40% from 3. So if Indiana cannot shoot this year, it is exclusively, it has to be a curse. It has to be a curse, because they have proven shooters, veteran guys who can shoot, and that's not even including like Trent Sisley, who can really shoot. His numbers aren't on here because he's a freshman. You never know how that's going to translate. So, you know, add another guy in there, 5 guys.
And with this, like some of these guys shot these percentages for Darren DeVries at previous schools. Right. So that's like, okay, and Darren brought in his entire staff, clean slate across the board with the coaching staff and the you know, kind of administrative staff around the team. So if they can't shoot this year, it's for some reason someone cast a hex
Tom Crean firing curse.
Yeah, on Assembly Hall for whatever
especially because a lot of these guys are almost all of these guys were the guy, and they were shooting very well. They will not all be the guy.
Right.
You'll have guys coming in, you know, you should always have, with this lineup that they have, you should always have 3 guys that can shoot above 35% on the floor.
Probably.
It is what it's looking like, especially with like Reed Bailey at the 5. So, got to make the NCAA tournament. You fire your coach for not making the NCAA tournament. You got to make the NCAA tournament. I don't think in the way that the sport is now, you have to wait. I think you can make the tournament immediately. We've seen that over and over. To get your money's worth, you have to make the tournament. Single-digit seed would be great. Avoid the play-in games, and you're in good shape. Go 3-1 in those. If you go have a one non-conference loss, you are in incredible shape. If you're 2-2, I think you're still sitting really, really pretty. If you go 1-3, things are looking odd, but still, you know, you can make some noise in the Big Ten, but I think the Big Ten is going to be pretty good this year. So Indiana got to finish in the top 6. In our minds, that's our goal. Make the NCAA tournament as a single-digit seed, and that'll be like a successful year for Darren DeVries and the new-looking Hoosiers.
Yep, absolutely. And with that, puck is showing quadruple zeros. Time for us to get out of here. Thanks for checking in on the State of Basketball podcast. We will see you next time. Remember, in 49 states,
it's just basketball.